Alright, what's going on everybody? This is Patty with fc.explained. So today I got some comments asking if I could make a tactics video. So I'll be showing today the tactics that I've been using ever since I switched to PC. I just hit Elite Division about 2 or 3 days ago now. I've only played one game because, if I'm being honest, I'm not really playing the game much right now. But finally got to Elite. Only been on PC now about a little under, or a little over a month. So yeah, definitely these tactics work. I would definitely recommend them. You guys will be able to see the code too. I'll share it while I'm going over them. But yeah, let's get straight into the tactics. All right, so here are the tactics. So obviously formation's a 4-2-1-3. I just like this formation because I like what it's able to give me in terms of just overall structure, and for the way I play, it really fits my play style. Defensive structure, I have on 57 depth. Sometimes I go 61 if I know I want to play a little bit more pressing, but my defending, honestly, recently hasn't been too great, so I've lowered the depth a little. You can put this, honestly, as long as it's just balanced. It's pretty good. If you guys are more comfortable with more aggressive defending, then by all means, I'd say I wouldn't go any higher than 61, just because I would say the way that the back line forms with the CDMs, especially with both of them on holding, I'll get into it in a second, but I don't know. I just find it very risky. Like, if you can defend with it, by all means go for it. But I think for all the lower division players, if you're trying this formation, definitely stick with anything between, I'd say, 55 and 60. I usually go 60 just because it's like the highest I can get without obviously being on a high defensive approach. But you guys are more than welcome to go 61. And then build up style short passing. I use a lot of triggers, so I don't need necessarily balanced. I like having passing options because for me personally, I find it a little bit more taxing or mentally engaging to try to call players short versus triggering them to run forward. So definitely short passing takes a little bit of that mental stress off while I'm playing. So pretty much that's for the overall team tactics. And then for the player roles, I have advanced forward, inside forward, and wide playmaker. The reason I have Bale on wide playmaker is because when I'm building up, I always want just one option to go wide. Regardless of which side it is, it doesn't really matter. I usually just prefer my lengthy or my, I guess, my taller, less technically gifted player on wide playmaker, just so I have more space to do passing options with them, and obviously inside forward on the other side. And also, when I'm building up, if Griezmann wants to take this space, like this little gap in between them, so if he wants to take this gap right here, I will usually, I like to have this gap open. So that's why I have one of the wingers on wide playmaker. Both CDMs on holding. You can alternate this between DLP defend and have one on DLP build up, depending on your play style. I personally just like having both CDMs back, and it makes it easier tracking them back myself. So I just prefer holding. And also, like I said, I trigger the runs manually, so I'd rather have them defensively set without me having to move them. And then if I want one of them to go forward, I'll just trigger them manually. Back line's nothing too crazy, just straight up fullback defend, defenders on defender plus plus, goalkeeper plus plus. So overall, the tactics are the way they are just because they suit the way I play. Now, the one principle I want to make sure you guys know is you don't need tactics to win games in this game. The main thing you need to learn is how to trigger runs and understand the positioning of whatever formation you're choosing. I don't I will agree actually that there are formations that are meta, but once you learn the basics and fundamentals of this game, you can win with any formation, especially just based off the fact if you know how the formation works, if you know how player positioning works naturally, like what the roles mean and what they're going to do with each role, then definitely I would say that's much more reasonable to just play whatever formation you want. But definitely whatever formation you pick, stick with it. Changing formations constantly when you're trying to figure it out is okay. But once you pick one that you think you can actually learn, don't change it just because you lose a game or two. It's really more so when I lose games on this formation, it's not because of the formation, it's because I made a mistake. So definitely don't just let the formation be the reason that you're like, oh no, I lost because this formation sucks. And like, no, most of the time it's just because you made an error, which is fine. I'm still learning how to get better at this game. You guys are still learning how to get better at this game. There's nothing wrong with it, right? So I'm gonna really quickly show you guys how the formation plays on the tactics board, and then I'll go into some clips that show how I build up, score, what I'm talking about with certain things that I mentioned previously. And yeah, let's get straight into the tactics board. All right, so for the tactics board, obviously our team is in blue, the other team is in red. I set the team up in red in a 4-4-2 second variation. So these guys aren't center mids, they're CDMs. And basically what I try to do is, so let's say I get the ball with my goalkeeper, right? The first thing I'm going to do, so usually what will happen is everyone's back here. CDMs are here. Let's say Cam's around there, CDMs are there. Wingers are usually chilling up here. Bale will be up there because he's wide playmaker, so he'll usually be really hugging the sideline. And I'll have, obviously, Henri will be here. My wingers, Jarzinho's usually more inside because obviously he's on inside forward. And pretty much if I get the ball my center back, the main thing I'm looking for, especially when they're pressing pretty high, because usually most players I play in Elite now just run 95 depth, which is fine. It works, so I don't expect people to not use it. Pretty much what I'm looking for is space in behind, but not like in behind in sense of the back line. I mean just in behind each individual line, right? So if I have, what I'm looking for is pretty much, if I have the ball with my center back, I'm looking, okay, these guys are pressing. How can I beat these guys first and pretty much get the ball into like this kind of a space, right? I want to get the ball into this gap here or this gap here, obviously depending on which side I'm on, or find Griezmann right away. And I want to find Griezmann right away is because I want to get the ball to my striker. I've mentioned this before. The best way to attack is to just get the ball to your striker, first time through ball. Now, obviously, do you have to cheese the first time through ball? No. However, it's really good to just try to get the ball up here because it relieves a lot of the pressure and it really makes him have to switch to his CDMs and track them back, right? So I'll get the ball with my center back. I'll usually go out wide and then I'll wait for pressure to come in, whether it's from the left wing, the striker, one of the CDMs. Honestly, if it's one of the CDMs, I already know that breaking through will be really easy because he leaves a massive gap right here. But let's say he's pressing with the left wing. I try to just spam L1 and R1, right? So L1 and R1, this one triggers them forward, this one triggers them back. And the reason I spam them, not spam them like literally, but press them pretty quickly between each other, is because I don't want him going too far, but I don't want him too short. I just want him to hover in the middle here so I can do this triangle. And if he marks this triangle, then I'll simply just take my space with the ball carrier until eventually he has to pressure with someone, right? So the key thing with this formation, and the thing I love about this formation the most, is the triangles are super easy to spot and they're super easy to create using the triggers and calling players short. So you have one here, you have one here, you have one here, right? You have one up here with these guys, obviously as they naturally move forward. You have one with these guys if he presses, right? So the triangles are really a big thing that I love about this formation. And the other thing I like about the formation too is when you have wingers instead of wide mids, because obviously you guys probably know by now, people are like, oh, 4-4-1-1, 4-5-1, right? And yes, I still agree they are probably the best formations in the game. But for my playstyle, I hate them. And the reason I hate them is because everyone's so close together. Now, that's good on defense, but on offense, the spacing, it kind of fucks me up. So having wingers instead of wide mids, just the fact that they're naturally sitting higher allows me to have more space, and more importantly, if I get this triangle off quick enough, it's going to be dreamland because then now I'm already on his back line before he can even move to his CDMs, right? I have 3 players already pressing his back line, right? So it's really simple to just have these players up so high and then just find ways to break through. So all I'm doing is I'm just trying to get to the CDM, cam, striker, to the CDM, winger, then striker, and then trigger the winger, or CDM, CDM, other CDM, if he's back and they're not pressing me pretty well, and then go and switch, right? So I'm basically just working the ball this way, right, while slowly moving up. So almost imagine like it's going side to side, right? But I'm slowly progressing up the pitch. Now, obviously, I'm not doing this all the time. Sometimes I'll go backwards to go forwards, right? So one of the clips you guys might see will be me, if I remember all of them that I got. You guys might see me go like this, backwards, forwards, striker, like that, right? Or you guys might see me go this, this. This guy's going to press me. I'll turn around, play him back. This again, cam, and then play my right winger or my winger in general. And yeah, pretty much I'd say the main principles to take away are understand the spacing of the formation and understand the triangles that this formation creates and how useful they are to just progress up the field. And also remember the key principles: get the ball to the striker as quick as you can because we want him to switch to his back line. And that's pretty much it for the tactics board. So without further ado, I will move on to the clips and I'll show you guys how it looks in game for a better explanation. All right, so in this first clip, I win the ball back, right? So immediately I check Griezmann in and I have him on playmaker because I want this option quickly in the middle. Sometimes the CDMs, with the way I have them on holding, they won't hold in the middle. Obviously, they're a right CDM and a left CDM, right? So they're naturally going to hold these half spaces in between the right side and the left side, right? So no one's going to be directly in the middle. So that's why I have Griezmann and I call him forward, and I like that he's on playmaker just to be that passing option. So I give it to Griezmann. Again, like I said, exactly. I'm just trying to get it to Henry because look, we are already on his back line. He's already switched to his center back. Now, yes, is this a counter? Of course it is. But you know how many counters you're going to get in a game if you defend correctly? You're going to get a lot. And the whole point is, look how wide Bale is. Bale is pretty much staying near the sideline. And I like this because then I can play him wide. He doesn't tuck in. I don't want him, right? So if you go back, if he's on inside forward, he's probably around here. Like, see where Jarzinho is? He's probably here. I don't want this because now his whole back line has pretty much cupped me in. Like, his whole back line has pretty much trapped me, especially with him having his winger back. I want Bale just being on the outside so we can break this line apart. And look, we have Jarzinho running through, playing in the middle. Same thing. Look, already out of shape. He has his CDMs, but I'm already got this 1v1. The best thing about this formation is you can get 1v1s so fucking easily. It's not even funny. Look at this. Already on 1v1. Little analog sprint touch, and I get the goal. So yes, is it a counter? Does everyone remember this trauma that we pretty much had from FC25 where everyone was playing this formation? Of course. But it works. That's why everyone was using it. No one has the masses using a formation unless it works. The only problem is people were just using meta spam that isn't in the game anymore. I learned how this formation works fundamentally so we can use it properly, and I'm going to be able to use this formation in any FC. When FC 27 comes out, I'm going to be using this formation, and I'm going to be winning games because I know how the positioning works of the players, and I know how to trigger runs at the right times and how to position everybody. So that's with the first clip, pretty much just understanding, look, we just get the 1v1 as soon as possible. He goes inside forward, we get the 1v1, and it's pretty much just, barbecue chicken from there. It's literally just no reason that I should be failing here. So yeah, that's it with the first clip, and I'll move on to the second clip. All right, so second clip, win the ball back, go to the winger. Whenever Griezmann or they have someone sitting in the pocket, again, you guys can see the triangle. I am trying to just get the ball to my striker or Griezmann. I'm just trying to get it high up the pitch, down the middle. So all I'm doing, I use Bale because he has a better angle to give it the ball to Griezmann than De Jong does. Gets Griezmann, and look, now he's trying to track back with the CDM. That's fine. Do a little skill move just to give myself some more space. Hit it to Henry. He doesn't switch quick enough, and we get a goal. So again, right, obviously you're playing a little bit of counter, haram ball, whatever you guys want to call it. I don't really care. I just care about winning games. And obviously, if I'm being honest, this year, defending is still overpowered. You can defend these haram balls just fine if you know how to switch. If you're complaining about haram balls, I'll be honest, I just think it's a problem with your player switching. I have no problem defending haram balls in Elite Division, so there's no reason you guys should either. Now, obviously, is there some cheese in this game and you're not going to defend everything? Yeah. But the people that say, like, every time they concede, if you're conceding every time to one play, you're fundamentally doing something wrong. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to show you guys what's going on and what you guys are doing wrong. So this guy, right? Let's say if we were analyzing this guy's defending. Already, he should be switching to the center back. He should see this 1-2 and just want to man mark this pass to Henry. See, his mistake is trying to press Griezmann instead of marking Henry. These guys are both marked, and Bale doesn't have an outlet. Henry has this little gap he can go into, especially with now every player has quick step plus, 99 pace, whatever, right? Always man mark the pass to the striker. And I have already what I want. Look, triangle. Triangle around here. it's done for already. And like I said, remember, if you guys watched the video, I said my favorite thing to do when I get the ball in the wing is a first time pass to the striker to take off, because everyone expects you to take that touch away. No one expects you to abuse the fact that he's not controlling this AI center back in this passing lane and play it to the striker right away. So like, get into Henry, and this is exactly what happens. He switches too late and we get the goal. So again, I'd say the biggest principle from this is just try to get the ball to your cam or your striker, but you don't have to play it straight to them. You can use the wingers, you can use the other CDM, you can switch the field even if a player on the other side is a better passing option, right? We're trying to use the other players to get better passing angles to hit the cam or the striker. So yeah, that's pretty much with this clip. Like I said, biggest thing I'd say is just this, right? I'm trying to get it to the winger just to get it to the cam. He has players back. We're going to punish him for having this many players forward on offense and not using them properly. But yeah, that's it for clip number 2. So I'll go into clip number 3. Okay, so clip number 3. This is off kickoff. I'm losing this game right now. So I'm going to show you guys. All these clips, these first 4 clips are going to be from the same game. So look, get the ball to cam. We use L2, right? I'm going to make an L2 video later today. I don't know if it'll be up later today, but I'm going to start making it. I use L2 really quickly to shield him, right? And then look, just cut inside, get the one more, and that's pretty much it. Look, same thing. Using L2, shielding dribble, and we get a low driven. So, big thing from this, right? It's off kickoff. Now everyone's like, oh, it's kickoff. I don't care what anyone says. You can defend kickoffs in this game if you just know the meta. You know what people try to do, right? People abuse the meta. You can abuse, if you know what the meta is that people are trying to abuse, block the key component of that meta. So I know, or this guy should know, the main thing I want to do is hit my striker. So right away, just switch to your CDM and hold your CDM and man mark this pass to the striker. That's literally it. If he does that, if he doesn't press Griezmann here, Griezmann doesn't have a threat. Yes, I can go byline, but you have players here to help. This is bad. You don't want to have your CDM not backwards and having just this open space with the striker. Regardless of who you bring into this space, bring someone into this space. We make him pay, get the space. Again, look, 1v1. Same thing now. Doesn't defend it correctly, and we get the goal. So, like I said, you can't prevent everything in this game, but you can prevent a decent amount if you know what you're doing and if you learn what the main things that people use to abuse mechanics are in this game. But yeah, pretty much this clip doesn't have as much to do with the formation. I think the main thing is just like I said, look, I'm just trying to get the ball in my cam and my striker. I definitely force this pass and get a little lucky, but like I said, look, I'm understanding and I have the awareness that he's not controlling this guy. If he was controlling this guy, 100% I would not have played this pass. But look, I'm analyzing the fact that he's not player switching correctly. He's not player switching to mark this pass. He's gambling and trying to depend on the AI to take this ball for him. And next year in FC27, AI is a lot worse. Allegedly, right? I'm speaking in terms of, we don't know what the game's going to be like yet, but allegedly AI is going to be a lot worse in terms of defensive AI. So we have to learn how to player switch correctly and just understand where passing lane threats are and just how to prevent these plays from conspiring entirely, right? He could prevent this whole thing from happening. And instead of pressing me with Hullet, he maybe pinched with Van de Ven and then quickly switched back to Hullet and brought him up. But he didn't. He pressed with Hullet, mindlessly ran out with him, and then he gave me the chance to get a 1v1. So that's it with this third clip, and I'll get into the fourth clip right now. All right, so this is probably going to be the last clip. I'll see how I'm doing on time, but pretty much same thing. We get the ball out wide. I'm just looking for reset ball. One thing I love about this formation is reset ball is so easy with this formation because even though they're on holding, when I get the ball with my cam, I'll trigger the winger, and then I'll play to the striker. Or not the winger, I'm sorry, trigger the CDM, just so they're higher up, and they're playing almost like a DLP. Look, these guys are on holding. Look how far they are up the pitch. Yes, they're holding, but they're still here, and they still are at the top of the box, quote unquote. I personally don't like them on the top of the box, like here-ish, because it's too congested. I like them sitting back here, just because then we can draw out more players and then create more triangle opportunities, right? So, get the ball in my CDM. Back, right? I'm just working it around, trying to find the space. Do that first time pass with the winger to the striker. Get the ball outside again. Bale staying wide so we can create this gap. And again, simple reset. Get the ball in the middle, and we get a finesse. So, look, the big thing with this formation, right? This doesn't happen. Look how wide Bale is holding. He doesn't have the roll at all, and he is holding this position perfectly. The reason I want him wide is to just get someone out there, create this gap in the middle, just so he has to bring players back. I'm already thinking 2 steps ahead, right? I already know if this guy is a good player, he needs to bring someone out here, but he knows he needs to bring someone out here, right? So I know he's going to drag people in, which means he won't have people for the reset. So I'm already thinking I'm not going to go down the line. I'm going to make him think I'm going down the line and then quickly get it back. I'm already know I'm going to look for Job already. I know I'm going to try to find Dion and hit Job right away. Or just some way to just reset the ball, right? Especially when in this position. He's not using team press. Everyone's chilling in the box. And I get the space. And he just lets me have it. So that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments. I think this is the last clip. I'll check if I have any more. If I do, I will just cut to it. If I don't, I'll cut to the outro. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next clip or the outro. Okay, so it looks like I did actually have one more clip. So this is from the same game, I believe. This is pretty much how I'm going to build up, like I said, in the tactics board part. Look, I have the ball in my wing back. I'm trying to just work the ball around, right? Get the ball to my CDM and then my cam. Now, could I have played this pass right here? Yeah, but I want as much space in here as possible. And this is a lot, but I really want him to drag a player out of position. And I don't want to risk any intercept ball, cheese, whatever, with playing this diagonal. And Bale is still getting pressed right here. So I'm just taking it slow. I'm up by 3 goals. I don't need to force anything, right? Get the ball to the winger. Again, same thing. Trigger run. That was an L1X pass I just did. Gets Bale open. Find Henry right away. Triggering Griezmann. Breaks the line. Doesn't switch quick enough. And yeah, pretty much just finished that goal off really nicely. So again, same thing here, right? When you notice that their left back or right back is really high up on your winger, because of the triangle that the 4-2-1-3 creates and the fact that Bale isn't a wide mid, he's already on the left back or right back, right? I know I can just give this ball to Griezmann with an L1X pass. I do this so commonly because I can either go for Henry and go for the first time through ball, or if he marks this, him switching to this player means he's not tracking this run. If he's not tracking this run, I'm just watching. Does he stay with this guy or does he switch to this guy? If he switches to this guy, I'll just L1Y, L1 triangle this over the top, and we get the same result, right? So look, switches, he tries to cover the lane. He doesn't guess correctly. I get the ball in there. Trigger this run with Griezmann, okay? That's the big thing, right? I see Griezmann making this run. He does it automatically. And bang, finesse. So the key thing is just taking advantage of when the players make the right runs. You want to feed them. If players don't make the right runs, you don't feed them and you make them trigger them yourself. But look, right? This space is here because Bale is so wide. This is exactly what I was talking about. This space that Griezmann ran into is the half space between Bale and his marker and the right center back. Literally because Bale is not inside forward. Look where Jarzinho is on inside forward. Look how inside he is. There is no way I'm going to get this goal if Bale is where Jarzinho is, respectively, on the other side, right? Obviously, look, Griezmann literally splits that gap perfectly, and we get the goal. So, rare moment where we see attacking AI really work out, but like I said, you got to just take advantage of when they give it to you. So, yeah. All right. That's going to be it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys want more personalized coaching sessions where I can review your own clips or do a live coaching session where I review your gameplay live or I just review your clips with you live in a call, there's a link to the Discord community down below. Coaching's free right now for the first 20 people that join. And yeah, I hope I see you guys in there. So I'll see you guys later. Peace.